The first mistake the Kraloth made was calling Earth a training world. They said it openly, laughing as their dropships cut through the atmosphere. A mild-class planet, they claimed. A bureaucratic error in the galactic survey. Listed as high gravity, only because humans hadn't bothered to recalibrate after industrial expansion. Commander Threx watched the blue and white sphere rotate beneath the viewport and felt nothing but disappointment. "This is the heavy world," he scoffed. His warriors echoed the sound. Kraloth physiology favored height and reach, long limbs, reinforced joints, flexible skeletal lattices optimized for low to moderate gravity environments. They were apex predators across half a dozen systems, their dominance proven on dozens of conquered worlds. And Earth looked small. Clouds, water, soft terrain, no razor storms, no crushing atmospheres, no tectonic instability. "This gravity is only 0.8 above standard," Threx said, reading the telemetry. "Hardly worth noting. Perhaps the humans exaggerated to deter us," Lieutenant Kesh replied. "Primitive species often mythologize their homeworlds." Threx smirked. "Then we will educate them." The dropships landed outside what the humans called a joint observation zone, a diplomatic fiction meant to slow expansion without open conflict. Human representatives waited at the perimeter, wearing light uniforms, no armor, no visible weapons. Threx noted their posture immediately. Relaxed. Too relaxed. "Open the bay," he ordered. The ramp lowered. Warm air rushed in. Gravity followed. Threx stepped forward confidently. His foot hit the ground. Nothing happened. He took another step. Still nothing. Behind him, warriors laughed louder. "See," Kesh said, barely noticeable. Threx raised a clawed hand toward the human delegation. "We come to inspect this so-called heavy world," he announced. "If your people have concerns, you may voice them now." The human officer in front, a woman with short dark hair and a calm expression, tilted her head slightly. "Inspection teams usually acclimate first," she said. Threx laughed. "Acclimation is for the weak." He stepped fully onto Earth's soil. The first sensation wasn't pain. It was weight. Not crushing. Not immediate. Just present. Like an extra layer added to every movement. Threx flexed his claws. The motion felt slower. He ignored it. Kraloth did not show weakness. His warriors followed him out, forming ranks behind him. Their armor clinked softly, heavier than usual, but well within their carrying limits. "For now," Threx continued speaking, projecting authority. "Your species will submit to integration," he declared. "Resistance is inefficient. We advise cooperation." The human officer did not move. She glanced at his legs. Just briefly. That annoyed him more than any insult. "You seem unimpressed," Threx said. "We've seen this before," she replied. "Seen what?" Kesh demanded. "Visitors," the human said, "who underestimate gravity." Another warrior snorted. "Gravity doesn't fight," he said. "No," the human agreed. "It waits." Threx felt it then, a subtle tremor in his fine muscles. A tightening. He shifted his stance slightly. The ground felt firmer, as if it resisted him back. Kraloth muscles were strong, but they were built for reach and speed, not sustained load. Each step now required micro-adjustments, unseen calculations compensating for the extra pull. The warriors behind him began to fidget. One rolled his shoulders. Another adjusted his footing. A third shook out his legs like a runner before a sprint. Threx scowled. "Hold formation," he snapped. "Yes, Commander," came the responses, slightly breathless, though none of them noticed yet. The human officer folded her hands behind her back. "You may want to remove some armor," she suggested. Threx bristled. "You presume to instruct us?" "I'm offering advice," she said calmly. Kesh laughed, but it came out shorter than before. "Our armor weighs less than your equipment," he said. The human nodded. "Yes," she said. "In space." Threx ignored her and turned toward his warriors. "Proceed with demonstration drills," he ordered. "Show them." Kesh stepped forward eagerly. He drew his training blade, ceremonial, but heavy, and raised it in a flourish. The motion stalled halfway. His arm shook. Just slightly. He frowned and tried again, forcing the blade overhead. The effort pulled his shoulders down, joints straining as gravity multiplied the blade's mass in his grip. The flourish turned into a clumsy lift. Kesh lowered the weapon quickly, embarrassed. "It's denser air," he muttered. The human officer didn't smile. She watched. Another warrior attempted a bounding leap, a common Kralith intimidation display. He crouched, pushed, and barely left the ground. He landed awkwardly, knees buckling, armor plates clashing loudly as he stumbled forward 2 steps before catching himself. The laughter stopped. Frex felt sweat bead beneath his neck plating. Enough, he snapped. You are warriors of. His next step betrayed him. The ground seemed to pull. His knee bent deeper than intended. Muscles screamed as they fought to hold him upright. The extra gravity didn't slam him down, it insisted. Frex locked his stance and straightened slowly, pretending nothing had happened. But the damage was done. He could feel it now. Every breath required more effort. Every heartbeat pushed against a heavier chest. The armor that had felt comfortable minutes ago now pressed down like a reminder of poor planning. Behind him, a warrior let out a sharp hiss. Commander, my legs. Silence, Frex growled. The human officer stepped forward 1 pace. The movement was effortless. Her boots did not sink. Her posture did not change. You're not failing, she said evenly. Your bodies are adapting. Kesh snarled. Adapt faster, then. The human shook her head. That's not how gravity works. Frex glared at her. You think this intimidates us? No, she said. I think you misunderstood the warning. Frex tried to respond. His mouth opened. No words came. Because his calves were burning now. A deep, spreading ache that crawled upward like fire. His spine compressed subtly, vertebrae protesting. His tail dragged heavier against the ground. He looked around. His warriors were no longer standing proudly. They were enduring. One leaned on his spear. Another had dropped to 1 knee under the pretense of adjusting a boot seal. A third swayed slightly, breathing too fast. Frex's pride screamed louder than his muscles. We will not kneel, he snarled. The human officer's gaze hardened, not with anger, but something like concern. Commander, she said, this is Earth's surface. You haven't even entered our cities yet. Frex's vision blurred for half a second. He steadied himself, forcing his legs to obey. You're bluffing, he said. The human gestured behind her. In the distance, human vehicles moved easily across uneven terrain. Soldiers jogged past in heavier gear than his own, breathing evenly, chatting as they went. Children played near a low structure, running, jumping, laughing under the same gravity that was tearing at Kralith muscles. Frex felt something new creep in beneath the strain. Not fear, dread. How long? He demanded. Do humans train for this? The officer considered. About as long as it takes to learn to walk, she said. After that, we just live. A warrior collapsed behind Frex. Not dramatically. His legs simply refused. He hit the ground on all 4s, gasping. Another followed. Then another. Armor clanged as pride finally lost the argument with physics. Frex felt his own legs trembling violently now, joints screaming for rest. He could still stand. Barely, but the effort consumed everything. The human officer took 1 more step forward. You came to conquer a heavy world, she said. But you didn't ask the most important question. Frex clenched his jaw. What question? She met his eyes. How strong do you have to be, she said quietly, just to exist here? Frex's legs buckled. He caught himself at the last moment, claws digging into Earth's soil. Around him, Kralith warriors knelt, collapsed, or clung desperately to their equipment, gasping for breath. The invasion had not begun, but it was already over, and gravity hadn't even finished speaking yet. Commander Frex had commanded invasions. He had stood on burning plains while enemy cities fell behind him. He had watched entire species kneel because they understood resistance was pointless. This was different. Earth did not roar. It did not threaten. It did not raise weapons. It simply waited. Frex's claws dug into the soil, every muscle fiber screaming under the unrelenting pull of gravity. He could feel his armor crushing him now, not with sudden force, but with persistence. A constant reminder that this world demanded more than he had prepared to give. Around him, Kralith warriors were no longer pretending. One lay flat on his back, chest heaving violently as he tried and failed to sit up. Another had curled onto his side, limbs trembling uncontrollably as lactic acid-flooded muscles never meant to carry this much weight for this long. A third tried to rise again. He made it halfway. Then his legs simply stopped responding. The human officer raised a hand. Medics, she said calmly. Human medics approached immediately, not in armored vehicles, not with weapons drawn, but on foot. They moved carefully, deliberately, as if approaching injured wildlife rather than defeated invaders. Krolith instincts screamed danger. Threx wanted to order them away, but he couldn't even draw breath deeply enough to shout. The medics knelt beside fallen warriors, applying stabilizers, offering water packs, adjusting armor to relieve pressure points. One spoke gently in trade common. "Don't fight it," the medic said. "Let your body rest." Rest. The word felt like surrender. Threx forced his head up and met the human officer's eyes. "You planned this," he growled. "You lured us here." She shook her head. "No," she said. "We warned you." Threx bared his teeth in what should have been a snarl. "You didn't stop us." She held his gaze. "We don't stop visitors from learning," she replied. "We stop them from hurting themselves." Threx wanted to laugh. The sound wouldn't come. "How many worlds," he rasped, "have you crushed with this trick?" The human officer considered. "None," she said. "Gravity isn't a trick." She gestured to the horizon again, to the distant cities rising under the same relentless pull. "It's just home." Threx's vision swam. His knees finally gave. He collapsed forward, catching himself with both claws, chest heaving. The ground felt cold, solid, immovable. It did not care who he was. He heard his warriors breathing around him, shallow, ragged, humiliated. No enemy cheers. No victory cries. Just the sound of bodies learning their limits. Human security forces arrived then, still unhurried, still unarmed. They formed a perimeter not to threaten, but to contain. No one pointed a weapon. No one raised a voice. The human officer knelt in front of Threx. "Commander," she said quietly, "your physiology will adapt if given time. But not today. Not under combat load." Threx glared at her through burning eyes. "What happens now?" he demanded. She didn't hesitate. "You withdraw," she said. "You recover. And you remember." "Remember what?" he hissed. She leaned closer, voice low enough that only he could hear. "That humans never have to flex," she said. "Because everything we do is already under load." Threx closed his eyes. For the first time in his career, surrender did not feel like defeat. It felt like survival. The Krolith evacuation took hours. Humans assisted every step, guiding weakened warriors into medical transports, adjusting gravity inside the ships gradually so their bodies wouldn't shock when the pull lessened. No one mocked them. No one filmed them. The lesson was not for entertainment. It was for memory. When the last dropship lifted off, the human officer stood watching until it vanished into the clouds. A junior soldier beside her finally spoke. "Ma'am," he said, "why didn't we tell them about the cities? Or the mountains?" She glanced at him. "Because they wouldn't have believed us," she said. "They had to feel it." Weeks later, across the galaxy, military academies updated their planetary assault simulations. Bert's designation changed. Not from heavy world, but to something new. Classification: sustained high-load environment. Note: human baseline activity assumes continuous gravitational stress. Recommendation: do not engage ground operations without full acclimation protocols. Among the Krolith, the story spread in fragments. Of a world that did not fight back. Of warriors brought low by nothing more than standing. Of a species that evolved not by escaping pressure, but by living inside it until pressure became normal. Commander Threx recovered fully. His pride did not. He never authorized another surface invasion without personal acclamation again. And when asked, years later, what defeated his forces on Earth, he gave an answer no one expected. "Physics," he said. Then, after a pause, "and humans." Because the most terrifying thing about Earth was not its weapons. It was that gravity had shaped a species strong enough to laugh, run, build, and live, all while carrying a weight the rest of the galaxy could barely stand.